Shalom, when the start of souls by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Kodash, double honors to the apostles of great millstone, and honors you brothers doing the work, the most high truth, and in sincerity. Yahweh's raw name of whom the world ignorantly calls God Jehovah Yahweh. His raw name is Yahweh. The son's true name is Yahweh Shai, and when we pray Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, meaning in, meaning then Sham, meaning names. So Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Real quick, yeah, this one, not saying that the kids, the children, related to this, with Jake or whatever it is, don't know who they are or whatever, right? But the point, still stands the same, and that is the young children of this generation, right, are just straight up just bugged out, man, right? They're just straight up bugged out, and then you've heard some of the older, the apostles, elders, Archeum out there, a little bit older, recounting stories of when, they were young, right? The amount of respect that was commanded, right? If you were someone that was, somewhat younger, right? But right now, once again, you don't have that, right? You just have absolute, absolute monsters, right? Out there at the moment, right? So just a little bit of background. So this is, one 8 year old, right? And basically, a set of five children were originally arrested. It says that four have been released without further action, three girls and one boy, right? So then that means there's one boy left, right? So, but from 12 to like 14 or 12 to 15 or something like that. Okay, these kids, and they basically attacked this man, right, and then left them for dead, right. These once again, these little gremlins that are out here, man, right. you gotta stay away from these gremlins, okay. But this is what happens, right? This is what happens when basically that fabric of society gets broken, right? More and more people are just waxing colder and colder, just to even in general grab that in the precepts, right? This is Matthew 24:12, right? It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, right? Attacking an 8 year old man, it's like, bro, like, what are you doing? Pick on someone your own size, But once again, that is something that is just the spirit of this earth at the moment, right? That spirit of coldness, right? As we've just read there, okay. But once again, when you look at how things were in in the ancient world, right? When you had a child that wasn't acting right, that weren't acting right, right? There were consequences to that, right? So this is Deuteronomy 21:18. It says, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them. So parents have been like, look, man, you're being a bad breed. Hit him, right? And the child doesn't want to get correct. Guess what? Listen to what it says, and you know what? That will solve, as Apostle Dahar has said, that will solve a lot of the issues, right? Because the problem with this world, just in general, is there's no recompense for actions, right? One of the things we talk about a lot is if there was judgment for adultery, people wouldn't be doing it. People would think twice, right? But it's basically just so normalized because there's no judgment for doing such a thing that Jake even, and in fact everyone even makes songs about it now, right? But especially Jake, okay. But we carry on. This is Deuteronomy 21:19. It says, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, right, and bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gate of his place. Right, and they shall say unto the elders of the city of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He's a glutton and a drunkard. So even just reading this, I'm thinking about just how much more, how much more firm, right, that they would have been, the parents would have been back in those days, because if the, as we're about to read, if the in fact, let me just read it and I'll make the point, right? So verse 21, it says, and all the men of this city shall stone him with stones that he die. So shall thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Right. So the point once again is people back then would have, a lot more, a lot more raw, because you bringing your child out to the elders, you knew what would come of that, right? You knew that was, oh yeah, all right, okay, is the judgment to stone him, and then everyone would get together and stone him, right? And once again, there are certain Jakes where it's just like, look, man, that law should have been applied on you, man. We've all met like grimy ass Jake, that that we all know would have benefited, right, from this, right, just to be taken out their misery. Okay, but the law isn't applied, right? Therefore, you basically end up in this situation, right? Once again, don't know whether this is Jay, don't know what was related to, in this particular instance where these children were from, right? But it's just once again that point of Jake, not Jake, just like these young children nowadays, they're just demons, man. Oh shit, it's like they're just demons, right? This is Proverbs 22 and 15, right? It says, once again, this is why he wants the children out of the house, because it basically prevents proper, and he'll be passing rules and laws, like, what is this one? In certain countries, you can't beat your kids, right? You beat your kids, and now, they're basically putting you in prison. Right? This is Isaiah 10 and 1. This is one to them that decree unrighteous decrees and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Right? So he basically just, thinks it up, and he's like, oh, okay, cool, this is what I'm going to push. Right? I'm going to make it such that you can't hit your kids. Right? But certain children need to get beats, and that's just what it is. Not certain children need to get beats, as we're about to read. Right? This is Proverbs 22 and 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, right? To buy and tie. So buy and get. So basically, it's like, yo, it's you got a child. Foolishness is in that child. That's basically what it's saying, right? So, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him, right? So when you're looking at this, right, verse in Deuteronomy 21 and 18, it's basically saying, look, man, the rod of correction, it didn't work on this guy. This is a super demon. Right, this is a super demon. The rod of correction didn't work, right? Therefore, basically, we have to show the other children, right, that if the rod of correction doesn't work, right, then this is what befalls you. That's why it says at the end of 21, right, it says, and all Israel shall hear and fear, right, because hey, we all remember certain of the stories we got told growing up, like, hey, such and this and that happened to such and so's son, right, and then what did it do? Put fear in you, okay. But that's it. It says foolishness is bound, back in Proverbs 22:15 and 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Okay. This is Proverbs 13:24. He that spareth the rod hateth his son. Right. And even reading this, you think about the chastisement, right, that we went through as a nation. Right. So it's in Hebrews 12, is it? It speaks about this. Then you have bastards, and I believe Hebrews 12 and 6. All right, I'll just read it. It says, Hebrews 12 and 5. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. Right, and that's quoting Proverbs 3 and 11. Right, my son, despise not the chastening of the Lord Yahweh, neither be weary of his correction. Right, Hebrews 12 and 6 now. It says, for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. Right, for what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons, right? So when we are reading this particular precept back in Proverbs 13:24, he that spareth the rod hateth his son, right? But ultimately, that was what happened with us also, right? In fact, let's grab that real quick. This is Amos 3. It says Amos 3 and 2 says, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities, right? So we were punished because the Lord was dealing with us, right? And then it was just like, yo, hey, I'm gonna get you. Oh, you don't want to follow my rules, I'm gonna get you, right? Sort of like how certain times you see like someone doing a madness, but when it's like, look, you're not of uh, you're not dear to me or whatever. You don't do anything about it. Okay. Whereas if it was someone that was dear unto you, kin unto you, like, yo, we do it, man. Okay. So let me just finish this in Hebrews 12 real quick. Hebrews 12 and 8 says, but if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then ye are ye bastards and not sons. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto this Father of spirits and live? Okay. Let me go back to this. So we read uh, no, we read this. If I didn't finish this, Proverbs 13:24. He that spareth his son hateth his. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. Right. So yeah, certain times you're gonna have to take the belt off, man. Give it a little bit of a, of a smack. This is Sirach 30. Right. It says he that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end, right? And that's it. At the time, it may not. You may be like, yo, what? Why is dad why is dad hitting me in that, right? But as you grow, right, you start to appreciate it. You like, you know what? If my dad weren't tough on me, right, I wouldn't have turned out the way that I did. Now that obviously there's still ways of doing it, right? You hear them say, yo, do you understand why you break it down, right? Especially in this world where children are taught basically to be assholes, right? Something that has been spoken about how on the TV, right, the media and all of that sort of stuff, right? They love talking about how no, rather they love showing this image of basically parents being subservient to their children, right? And Esau's gonna have to pay for that, okay? But yes, it's Sirach 30 and 1 says, he that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. It says, he that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, right? And that's why Esau has taken your children away, right? That's why, and what I mean by that, that's why he's got you working all the damn time, right? He's got your woman working, right? And when you come home, you're just too exhausted to properly, undo the programming that Esau's done whilst Esau's had your children in his care. Okay, that's why this world is the way it is. So let's read that again. Sirach 30 and 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Right? Because effectively what's happening is our children, right? I say that like I've got children, but our children are being taught by the enemy. Right? So you've effectively got an enemy combatant, right, in your house, just chilling. Just chilling there watching you. And then the thing is, it's like then they go to school, right, and then they're effectively reporting back to the enemy. Right, oh yeah, my dad, he doesn't like alphabet people and all of that sort of stuff. And then the teachers are waiting to hear that. Oh yeah, perfect. You know? This once again, it's Proverbs 22 and 6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Right? So you can already tell, once again, going back to the story, that, the children involved in this, right, they were bred to be assholes. Right? Now there are cases of where you get children that have had, that basically they'll just bad mind, right? Yeah, of course, there are always cases where you just have children that are bad mind, but once again, that's where June 2020 21 comes. And now, of course, no one's saying do this now. Just saying what it was in the ancient world. Don't be going around doing stupid shit. Okay. Um, but where were we? Yeah, so yeah, and when he is old, he will not depart from. So once again, that's why he wants to have your children, right? So you can't train him, so you can't teach them, right, and guide them in the right way. Okay. Now I just wanted to end with this because there are accounts in the scriptures of of disobedient, rebellious ass children, right? And let's read what happened. Right, so Second Kings 2:23 says, and he went up. This is talking about Elisha. It says, and he went up from thence unto Bethel, and as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him, and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. And he turned back and looked on them, and cursed them in the name of Yahweh. It says, and there came forth two she bears out of the wood, and tear 42 children of them. All right, so that's it, man. You know, when you're dealing with the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and his men, you gotta come correct, right? But just once again, just an account of rebellious as kids, and you know, in these days, right? You know, the Lord's gonna open up on certain of these so-called children, man. Right, I remember watching the elders out in Dallas a couple of weeks ago, and you had a bunch of little ninjas that were like this, right? And you know, this story came up then also, right? But like I said, just to round that one up, of yeah, a lot of these young children, right, gremlins, man. Right, so as always, Lord's will, that was edifying. Till next time we say Shalom.